Hey guys, Kirk here, and thank you for joining me on a new video on the channel. In this week's video we're going to be looking at surface normals, and essentially what surface normals is going to do is it's going to break up with the way the light hits the surface of our landscape. So if we look over here a little bit, and like in the mid-range, wrong way, like here, you can see that the lighting is hitting the surface and it's kind of like it's just spreading and making all the other layers blurry. So adding an additional normal to break up that lighting, it just makes it look a little bit more realistic whilst keeping it cheap. And it's just a good little technique to have. Before we get started, as usual, I want to thank everyone who's subscribed to the channel and likes the videos. Liking the videos is very important to the channel and helping it grow so it gets more notoriety and a lot more beginners and even professionals can learn something new for Unreal Engine. I also want to give a special thanks to my membership program members, if you like. It's really supportive, the action you're doing. By now, if you're a membership level 2, you should have a copy of this project. So today's video won't be hard to follow. If you do want a copy of this project, then feel free to join the membership program at a level 2 stage. Join the Discord, the link is in the description, and just apply for roles. There's a section in there where you can apply for a role. Just start a ticket, tell me you've joined the membership, share a link to your YouTube channel, and I will marry them up and then give you the correct roles and give you a copy of the project along with a lot more perks that you would get. Okay, so with that being done, let's start with the video. What I want to do is to add our normal surface breakup, if you like, to our grass layer. So if I come to my landscape material, if you have a copy of the project, you can see it's right here in the landscape shader folder. It's right here. If we go to the auto material section, and then I've got my flat ground main here. With this kind of function that we're going to build today, you can pretty much add this anywhere you want. But I would advise not to add it to the whole landscape because it will just make it all look a little bit silly. You want to find a specific layer to add it to, or like a whole layer. Like this flat ground main has got 3 layers inside it. Particularly, I want to add it here to my grass A layer, which is this grass that we're seeing on screen here, and that's pretty much where I want to add it. But you could add it to the end here as well, but it would affect all 3 material layers that you're seeing here. So like I say, I'm going to add the function here. So I can close my auto material down, save, cancel. Did I make any changes in there? I think I just moved this, didn't I? I'll just hit apply, save, and I can close that down. Okay, so what I want to do is come to my content drawer, and in my landscape shader folder I'm going to go to functions, and in here I'm going to right click, materials and material function, and we'll just call this surface underscore normals, like so. We can double click on that and open it up. We are getting an error as usual. That's because there's no input to our output, but we can close that down. And essentially what I need to do, like a showcase there, is we've got our material output for our layer. We want an input in this function that we're going to be adding here. So we're going to come into our surface normal function, right click and get a function input. So just right click and type input. You want to get this function input right here. It's set now to a vector 3. We want to change that input type to a material attributes. This is just for the way my landscape shader is built, because in my landscape material I'm using material attributes here. If you're not and your output looks like make material attributes and your output looks like this, you would just add the function into your base color input at the end, but that's if you're using this kind of technique. You might have all your layers, you might have multiple layers set up here. At the output of your make material attributes, where it goes just before your layer blend node, add the function in here as well, if that's the way you've done your material shader. I'm not sure, but yeah, so we've got our input. We can just call this material input, like so. And then what I want to do, if I come back to my flat ground main, go to grass, from my material output here, you can see I've got a set material attributes and I've got a normal input. So that information is being stored in here and carried out to my output right there. So if I come off these and I'm looking for my flat ground, I want this material output. But I don't need any other information apart from the normals, because with this technique we're just affecting the normals. So I'm going to drag off our material input, material input, and get a node called get material attributes. So I'm going to get that normal information now. If I click on the get material attributes, I want to add an element. Click that element and I could choose the kind of information I want. And like I say, I want the normal information. So I've got that normal pin. So all the information from our grass A layer will come in here, and I'll just take the normal information. I'll drag from the material attributes and then get a set material attributes. And in here, like the get material attributes, I want to add the normal information. So now I can make whatever logic changes I want in here and then just add it into the normal information. We'll put that into the output. We'll change this to surface normal. Like so. That easy. So now let's build the logic up. What I want first is a normal texture. So I'm going to come to my content drawer, click on content, and in the search content area, I'm just going to type normal. And this should showcase all the normal maps that you have in your project. If not, you can also click on all, and it'll show all objects that are related to the word normal. But you can change that in the filters. So I can just click texture and it'll show me all the normal textures. I'm just going to drag this up a little bit so I can see even more. And this normal texture here looks good. This is from my slope layer B. That looks like quite a decent one, so I'm just going to click and hold and drag it into my material function. I'm going to drop this down and get it back to normal a bit. So we're free to go and ready. Just close that down a little bit. And now we've got our normal texture in here, we can start messing about. As you can see here now, you can see our normals are there. They're quite nice normals actually. This should work quite well. I want to create some UVs, so I'm going to hold U on the keyboard and left click, get a text coordinate node. I want to change these UVs, so I'm going to hold M on the keyboard and left click and get a multiply node and just drag them in there. And now I can change the value at which this is set in here, so I can put a 2, it'll just change 2 by 2 and all that good stuff. Okay, so now I want to affect how intense this normal is going to be. So I'm going to hold L on the keyboard and left click and get a lerp. And for here, I'm actually going to change between normal map and flatten normal. So I'm going to hold 3 on the keyboard and left click and get a vector 3. And in the Z offset here, or in the blue channel in the details panel, you can just put a 1 in there. And essentially this is just a fake normal. So with the value I set in the alpha, it's going to change between our fake normal and our actual normal. So that can set the intensity. If I drag into the A input with our vector 3, and in the B input I'll put our texture sample in there. And now all I have to do is to change the values. If I put this straight into that normal output, you can see I'm at 0.5, so the intensity is not that bad. But change that value to a 0. You'll see that it goes to a flat normal because that's what we're indicating here. But if I change it to a 1, you can see we're getting all our texture in there now. This is just a good way to, a nice easy way to arrange normal strength. It's very easy. What I want to do now is to give ourselves some options to change our UVs and to change our normal strength. And for this I'm going to use a vector 4. If I open up my material instance, which is here, you'll see my material instance is full of vector 4s. So each of these that you see, if I click on that, you'll see I get contrast intensity for the height, and this is the same for all of them. Right, this is my dirt height and dirt common options. I've got my contrast, roughness and normal in there. Normal's at 4.2, let's go to a 3.5, that's a bit too high. Save that. That dirt value there is this dirt in this little gully here. I've increased the value of our normal there just so it looks quite nice like that. So what I want to do is to use that vector 4, because as you can see it makes all our options compact into these little drop down menus. I can close that off. So what I'm going to do is hold 4 on the keyboard and left click and get a vector 4 in here, and then I'm going to right click on it and convert to a parameter, and this can be my surface normal controls like so. And essentially to use these vector 4s, I have done on this channel before, pretty much most videos that I've used scalar parameters on, then I've moved over to vector 4s now as they're more compact, like I say. So for the first one, this is going to be normal texture UV scale. If you're not seeing channel names, it might look like this, so just click that little triangle thing there and it'll open up, and in here I can go normal intensity. That other one is a little bit too long, so I'm going to get rid of the texture bit and just have normal UV scale, and essentially I can just drag into that B input of our multiply with the UV scale, and the intensity can go into that alpha like so. Nice and easy, lemony squeezy. No way have I just said that. Okay, so what I need to do, as you can see, it's completely flat and no UVs. So in here I'll put a default value of 1 to start with, and then in the intensity I'll just put a 1 as well, just to get us back to normal. For this surface normal controls, I'll sort that out a bit later on, I think. What I want to do now is to add it into our logic, so I'm going to hold A on the keyboard and left click, and then from this normal output of our get material attributes, that's going to go into the A, the lerp is going to go into the B, and then that is going to go into the normal of our set material attributes. So this logic here, we're just essentially adding it into the information that's coming through here. Okay, so that's pretty much the logic set up. I want to set up some switches now. So I'm going to right click and type switch. And I want the static switch parameter. And this will be enable surface normals. Like so. I'm going to put 2 arrows on the end. You shall see a little bit later on why. This is just a little thing that I'm doing with this material instance. Well, you'll see now actually, because I need the name. Oh wait, there. I can just go into the landscape material here, and you can see here, zoom right in, I've got these little arrows. That's how they look in the material instance. I'm just going to click on that, and I'm going to copy this group name. If you've not got this particular project through the membership program, then feel free to put whatever group name in here, what will look better in your material instance for the project you're working on. But in here I'm going to apply that in this one here, and for the set priority I'm just going to put a 1 in there for now. We can always change this a bit later on. So enable surface normals, I'm going to put that into there, which is true. But if it's a false, I can just put this into the material attributes there, which is great. And then just drag that to the output right there. And we'll do this. I just want to tidy it up a little bit. You guys who are usually following my channel and my videos will know that I do like it a little bit tidy. So yeah. And that's that. What I want to do as well as an additional option for our artist who is going to be using this landscape shader is to give them the option to change the texture itself. So I could just get this texture sample, left control and D, and duplicate it, and I'm going to right click and convert to a parameter, and this could be surface normal texture. We can leave this as it is for now. It's just for the tutorial, so we don't need to set a group up. I can do that off camera. So here I'm going to right click and get a switch, static switch parameter again, and this will be change normal. Oh wait there. Change surface normal texture. Like so. And 2. We'll put on the end there the 2 arrows. Oh wait there. There we go. And then we'll do this one as well. And there we go. I just like to be, like I say, a little bit more organised. I could just drag the true into our surface normal texture, and the false can go into there, and then this output can go into our B input of our lerp, like so. There we go. I do want this option to be in here as well. So I'm just going to change the group. Once you put a group name into one parameter, then in this particular function, if I click on here, I can just do the drop down menu and choose that group as well. So the set priority was 1 and this one can be 2. All these need to be changed a little bit later on, so let's not worry too much about it for now. And then from our multiplier of our UVs, just put that into the UVs of that parameter for the normal texture. And up to now, this looks okay. There may be something else that I need to change, but I'm not 100% sure yet. So we're just going to hit apply on there and save. You'll see no changes have been made because we've not actually applied the function in. So I'm going to come to my content drawer, my functions folder, and this is the function we just made, the surface normals. Simply drag that in. And now from our material, you can see we've got our material input. We'll just put that in there. And this can essentially go into our material B input. This is where our material is going into. Just drag that in there, like so. We'll just straighten this up a little bit more. And on our height, you don't have to do this. Like I say, you may have a different kind of shader. I'm just going to arrange that so we can see what's going on right here. So if I hit apply now, it's going to start applying all these shaders, if you like, compiling the shaders. Okay, so now the shaders are compiled. Can't see much difference here. So what I'll do is open our material instance. And as you can see here, we've got enable surface normals. That's why I can't see much difference. So we'll tick that. You can see, as I was talking about with these arrows, you can see it's marrying up a little bit there. I'm going to have to change them question marks now I've seen that. So we'll just move over here. We'll delete that off there like so. Then we can hit apply and it should get rid of them question marks now. There you go, and it's just looking essentially like all the others. That's exactly what I want. I'm going to enable this now. That's why the shaders didn't compile. But as you can see now, the bumpiness on here, on our grass. I look out here, it's not, the intensity is not that bad. Something's not right here. It's this. We'll add it to the same group, and this one was 2, so this one can be 3 for now. Like I say, you could change all this up in your own time. You don't have to do it right now. If I do that and apply our options, surface normal controls should appear there now, like so. So I'm just waiting for these to compile. I can go to surface normal controls. You can see if I add a little bit more intensity, like a 2, 3, 5, 10, you can clearly see the intensity of them normals building now. Obviously you won't want it this intense, I mean, depends on yourself, but 2.1, maybe a little bit too much, 1.5, yeah, let's leave it at 2 for now, and we'll just change our scale. I'll just reduce this a little bit, like so. And you can see now, this is kind of what I was looking for. Obviously the intensity is a little bit too high. Let's reduce that quite significantly. Something like that. I'll turn around here. You can clearly see it here a lot better. But in the distance, It's just breaking that up a bit. If I increase the intensity, you can see this break up now, where it's just breaking up the light on our surface, our normals. If I move a little bit closer, you can see this break up now, where it's looking quite nice. And you can just see off in the distance here, if I increase that intensity even more, you can see off in the distance where it's breaking it up. This would be good for like a dirt layer like this, where it breaks it up a bit. And don't forget, you can just change the surface normal texture. If I go to the bottom of the landscape material, you can see that our surface normal texture option is there. You can change it up there. But keep in mind, now that's the function done, and I've just named it surface normals. So you could essentially come in here and you can apply this surface normal to anywhere. If you're planning on using this multiple times, I would highly recommend going inside here, and like with this, where these scalar parameters are, I would highly recommend coming in here and getting inputs, a function input, and applying them to each of where these scalar parameters are. And then outside the function, the options will become available there as well. And you can apply this surface normal function to any layer that you want. But you would need to change the name of there as well. Like if I come to this dirt sea, and I make a duplication of this surface normal, just apply it in there, like so. And now when I hit apply, you'll notice how the dirt in here now is affected by that normal. And I also can come into my flat ground main and just remove it from there as well if I want to. Hit apply and just wait for these to compile. I apologise about the noise in the background. I think my neighbour is having some work done, if you can hear that noise. But now, as you can see, our surface normals are being affected inside that particular dirt layer. So I can reduce that ever so much, and it just breaks up. It actually looks good on there, on that dirt layer. But the options there, guys, you can utilise this where you want. For now, I'm just going to utilise it on my grass. For now, and just get rid of that one there. But now, so if I save this, save my normals, and come back, you can see now that I'm getting that break up with the normal. And you can also, like I say, change that variety up on the scale for the UVs, and it looks quite good. Okay, so that is it for this video. Hopefully this video has helped you to break up your texture repetition and also create, as you can see here, there's a different kind of shadow going on this surface of our grass now compared to when it's not enabled. There's not much difference. Yeah, there is. I can clearly see it. So yeah, like I say, if you found this helpful, then hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. If you want a copy of this project, then jump in and join the membership program. Jump onto Discord, like I said at the beginning of the video, and apply for roles, and I shall get with you as quickly as possible. So yeah, I shall see you in the next video, which I am contemplating on making our snow mask for our mountain tops and all that good stuff. But we shall see next week. So I'll see you then, guys. Thank you. Bye.